We've been pretty blessed with an easy fixture list to begin Season 2 of our realistic Borussia Dortmund's career mode, but so far, we're failing to take full advantage. We slipped up slightly in Episode 1, drawing 2-2 with Bochum. We slipped up significantly in Episode 2, losing 3-2 to Borussia Mönchengladbach. And we have Black November looming on the horizon, where we'll be taking on Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Liverpool and Leverkusen, which means we only have 1 month of, on paper, easy fixtures to take advantage of. So I'll be showing you highlights of our Bundesliga games against Mainz and against Eintracht Frankfurt. Our Champions League game at home against Monaco will be our featured game in today's episode. To round out the episode, we'll be quick simming games against Hanover and against Aachen. However, before we get into those games, we've got some important decisions to make about the future of our club. We have a number of players on expiring contracts at the moment, including a couple of our highest overall players in Julian Brandt and Nicholas Serler. Some of our most promising young talent in Moukoko and Giovanni Reina, and some role players like Gross, like Özcan, and like Alexander Meyer. Now, some of these decisions are going to be easier to make than others. Pascal Gross, for example, is retiring at the end of the season, so we don't have a decision to make there at all. We simply cannot allow Julian Brandt to leave on a free, and Youssoufa Moukoko has already shown that he could easily be the future of this club. But some of the other decisions are not quite so straightforward. We've tasked Niklas Serler with competing with Waldemar Anton to see who's going to be playing Robin to Nico Schlotterbeck's Batman going forward. So we'll have to continue to monitor the progress that Serler makes over the next couple of months. And Salih Özcan has shown that he can fit in nicely in that 4-2-4 formation, playing that centre half role. He is, however, injured and out for the next 2 months. So how much he's going to be able to prove himself before we really need to start offering a contract is yet to be seen. And finally, Giovanni Reina has been a hot prospect at Dortmund for some time, but having played over 100 games for the club now and still not having established himself in the first team, how much longer he's going to be sticking around, again, is yet to be seen. Fortunately, we can afford to move on from a prospect like Giovanni Reina if we wish. We do, of course, have Karim Adeyemi, Julian Duranville, Jamie Gittens, who are all ahead of him in the pecking order. And we have the likes of Cole Campbell, Charles Massey, and Theo Proctor waiting in the wings as well. Today's video is sponsored by Enigma Football, the UK's leading supplier of football shirt mystery boxes. Whether you're looking for a fun way to expand your own football shirt collection, or you're looking for a unique gift for the diehard football fan in your life, Enigma Football have got you covered. Their mystery boxes start at just $34.99, which is almost half the standard retail price, and you can be 100% sure that their shirts are authentic because they get them straight from the clubs and manufacturers themselves. And you can reduce that price even further by using code LAMSY at the checkout for 10% off your first order. That code applies to any single football shirt mystery box, and it also applies to the first month of any mystery box subscription package, where you'll receive a fresh new shirt on your doorstep every single month. You can be sure you'll get a shirt that you like too. You can ask Enigma Football to send you a shirt from a specific league with a specific color or pattern, or to avoid certain teams. And if you still don't like what they send, you have 60 days to either return or exchange it. So head over to Enigma Football and place your order today. The link is in the description, and be sure to use code LAMSY at the checkout for 10% off your first order. Shout out to Enigma Football for sponsoring the video and for hooking me up with a couple of shirts, including a Dortmund shirt for this series. Now let's get back to the video. And the massive potential this squad has is reflected in the squad tab of Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool. We have a massive plus 155 squad potential, and for a team that already has an overall of 81, that's not bad at all. And it will be in the squad tab that we're going to process our first extension of the season for Julian Brandt. The finances tab tells us that as a crucial player, he needs to be offered a salary in the range of 69 to 97,000 a week, with an 831,000 signing bonus. And that does only represent a moderate pay rise for Brandt, but the security of staying at Dortmund for the next 3 years and possibly for the remainder of his career is enough to get him to sign on the dotted line. As for Moukoko, we're going to try and lock him up on an important squad role for 5 years. And that may seem like a big investment, but if we can lock Moukoko down for the duration of his early 20s on 50 grand a week, that's going to seem like a coup in 2 years' time. and he doesn't accept a 5-year deal, but he does sign for 4. So both Brandt and Moukoko put pen to paper, which takes us up to our crucial player limit of 5. We currently only have 6 important players in the squad, but with a number of other players likely to be looking for extensions soon, I think we're going to hit our limit there sooner rather than later as well. As for the remaining 5 players, Pascal Gross again is retiring at the end of the season. I'm more than happy to allow Alexander Meyer to walk, and I think ultimately the same is going to be said for Giovanni Reina. We could potentially sell him in January, and I am still open to him changing my mind over the coming months. Sally Özcan and Niklas Serla will both be playing for their future at Borussia Dortmund. And that brings us to our opening game of today's episode as we travel to Mainz, where the 4-2-3-1 formation will be making its return. Fresh off signing his new deal, Julian Brandt starts in the number 10 role. Also having put pen to paper recently, Moukoko only finds a place on the bench. And it took only 5 minutes for us to take the lead in this one. Julian Brandt and Adeyemi combining well to find Guirassy in the box. But it took Mainz only 3 minutes to equalize, the CPU apparently having no issues at all scoring headers from corners. Adeyemi almost put us back in front, but he forced a good save from Robin Zentner. He forced a second excellent save from Zentner too, weaving his way through the Mainz back line before firing his shot at goal. And it proved easy to run at the Mainz back line. Julian Brandt taking his turn to give us the lead again 5 minutes into the second half. But once more, it was a lead that we ultimately would not hold on to. Nico Schlotterbeck lunging in, allowing the Mainz defender in behind him, and he fired past Kobel to equalize. There's another disappointing result away from home. It was a game that we were comfortable in and we really should be taking 3 points from, but we haven't defended particularly well to start season 2, and that's continued here against Mainz. And to make matters worse, we need to add Felix Metscher's name to the list of injuries at CDM. He's going to be out for 4 weeks. So Eric Martel comes back into the side in that centre half role for our second game of the episode against Frankfurt, and Moukoko joins for the first time in the series Guirassy up front. It was actually Frankfurt who got off to the quick start in this one, opening the scoring within 10 minutes. But Moukoko and Guirassy combined well up front, and when Mokoko's shot was initially parried away by Kevin Trapp, Guirassy was on hand to fire home the equaliser. And Kevin Trapp had a good game, coming up with a big save to stop Karim Adeyemi scoring another great goal. And just as we were starting to get comfortable in the game, this rash challenge from Youssoufa Moukoko gave the referee no chance but to show him the red card. An equally rash challenge gave the referee equally little choice but to award us a penalty in the second half though, which Guirassy promptly dispatched. And just like Youssoufa Moukoko in the last episode, Guirassy would then go on to score his hat-trick to make it 3-1. So despite going down to 10 men, it actually looked as though we were going to go on to win the game, but we allowed another really poor header at the back post, and Frankfurt pulled one back. But when Hugo Larsson saw red in the 80th minute for a second bookable offence, it looked certain that we would go on to victory. But when Gregor Kobel completely sliced his clearance and gifted possession to Frankfurt, they made us pay, equalising once again. So it'd be a second successive disappointing draw. This time in front of the home fans. We really need to find some defensive consistency and solidity if we're going to avoid plummeting down the Bundesliga. We are still clinging on to a Champions League place, just about on goal difference over Frankfurt themselves. Bayern Munich continue to run away with things at the top of the table though, and of course our goal isn't simply to make the Champions League, it is to win the Bundesliga. Winning the Champions League wouldn't be such a bad thing either though, and we do still find ourselves top of the table despite Inter Milan, Chelsea and Marseille all managing to win their second game as well. So without further ado, let's head over to Signal Iduna Park and see if we can put those disappointing results behind us and make amends in front of the home fans against Monaco. So it's not often you can get off to an unbeaten start in a season and still feel as though you've underperformed. But that has certainly been the case here through 3 episodes, at least in the Bundesliga. And it's a big save from Kobel at the near post within a minute to keep us level here in the Champions League 2. Golovin to take the corner for Monaco, who have got off to a rapid start, immediately piling on the pressure. Kind of fairly direct Route 1 approach with the big sweeping cross out towards that back post. And Adeyemi is going to look to profit on the counter-attack here. Does have the pace to squeeze past his man. Pulls it back towards Julian Brandt. Defender gets the foot in though. And Malignon can collect. So a frantic start to the game. We have had to change our shape slightly here today, because there is no Yan Couto. Lacking match fitness for this midweek fixture. So Ryerson has come in on that right-hand side. Very different skill set from Couto, though. So Ryerson is going to drop in a little bit more and kind of hold his position at right back. Max Bayer up ahead of him will still be venturing forward. And Zabitzer will be stepping up to kind of support the attack a little more in Couto's absence as well. So a slight change to the shape of the team, given that slight change to the personnel, but we should be a little more solid defensively as a result. As Hartmann, a player that we had our eye on this summer, joined Monaco from Feyenoord, was a little too out of our price range at left back, so we had to opt for Jakub Kivior instead. More than happy with that consolation prize, if you can call him that. Probably a better fit for what we're looking to do on that left-hand side than Hartmann, to be fair, but Hartmann, overall, the better player. Guirassy does continue up front today as well. Moukoko certainly running him close for that striker position, for that lone striker position at the very least. We saw them combine and link together very well when they played up front together. Adeyemi trying to squeeze that pass through. Monaco smothering us at the back at the moment. Schlotterbeck manages to cut it out as well. But Guirassy obviously feeling the heat from Moukoko, because he's picked up exactly where he left off last season. He's had an excellent start here to Season 2. And if we can kind of maintain that competition up front, Moukoko and Guirassy each trying to go one better than the other, each trying to one up the other, then I think we should be good for goals for the duration, really. Well cut out by Kivior. Again, Monaco continue to apply the pressure, though. And Kivior has been completely taken out of the game there with that slight overload on Monaco's right. Adeyemi thankfully dropping in to support now, though. We are playing with some different sliders in today's game from the previous episodes. I did recently drop version 7 of my realistic slider set. Literally days after, maybe one day after I'd recorded that, EA dropped the gameplay refresh update. So had to get back in the lab, back testing. But version 8 will be dropping shortly too. If you're watching this episode as it drops on Saturday, the sliders will be out version 8 on Monday. If you're watching in the future, they are almost certainly on the channel now for you to find. And I won't go over too much how the gameplay refresh update and the version 8 of the sliders has affected the game, as Guirassy lurking in the box to try and get on the end of the cross. Goalkeeper gets there first, though. I won't talk in too much detail about the changes to the gameplay, because I'll obviously go over that in the slider video itself. Kivior beaten. Minamino, an interesting player up front for Monaco. Remember him from his time at Liverpool. Kind of forgotten he existed since he left. And I think that's Zabitzer, and it is. Drops in puts in the foot, forces the ball out for a corner. Not too many chances for either side just yet, beyond that initial chance for Monaco within that opening minute. And that's well cut out. And Kivior is just going to lay it into the path of Bayer, who can carry us up the field. And Guirassy is too slow, far too slow. The pass from Bayer just a little too far in front of Guirassy. Perhaps a little more used to play with Moukoko at this point, who certainly would have got there, you would have to imagine. But that is Guirassy's fatal flaw, really. He is... It's another big save from Kobel. He is pretty slow, pretty lumbering up front. Excellent finisher, big, strong, powerful in the air. That is one thing I will mention about the gameplay. Headers are just broken. The version 8 of my sliders, I'm very happy with. I think overall it's got the pace of the game, the shape of the game, the dynamic of the game in a good place. But headers are just literally non-existent, as Monaco are going to go one up here, and they do. Well worked, Monaco, but again, it's defensive inconsistency at the back that's punishing us. I think it was Niklas Söller, to be fair, giving the ball away. One of those players on an expiring contract who is very much playing for his career here at Dortmund. Gives the ball away. Anton hasn't really made any mistakes like that this season. And it was actually Ryerson. It was Söller who put Ryerson in a difficult position, but it was Ryerson who gave the ball away. And it's Minamino, the forgotten man, who puts Monaco ahead. We do, to be fair, have a few points to play with in the Champions League. We've won each of our opening 2 games. And of course, we do only have to be amongst the top 16 in the table to qualify for the knockout stages. So losing a game here or there rather in the Champions League is not going to be the end of the world. Obviously, we want to lose as few as possible. Raya venturing forward, and he finds Max Bayer with the return ball. No, he can't. Can't even hold on to the ball himself either. It's been another disappointing performance in this first half. But as I was saying before that goal went in, I think the sliders are in a very good place. Headers are just broken, and unfortunately that makes the game a little one-dimensional, because there's literally no point getting the ball into crossing positions. There's literally no point trying to win set pieces, particularly corners, because headers just don't work. There is literally 0% chance of you scoring from a header. So that kind of forces you to play a little one-dimensional and just work the ball around the penalty area and kind of get finesse shots in from 18 to 20 yards out. But unfortunately, that's not something that can be fixed by the sliders. Oh my God, I thought that was in. Curling effort from Golovan, drifting in off the left flank. I think probably beat Kobel, to be fair. Unfortunately for Monaco, beat that far post as well. We need to get into this game, because we have been poor, and Adeyemi has given the ball away now. We can barely get out of our defensive third. We might have to look to switch up these tactics, because this is simply not working. We'll go to the control tactics and try and do just that. Establish a little more control over this game. Oh my good God. We cannot string 2 passes together at the moment. Really, really poor performance. Martel finds Kivior. Adeyemi. Chance to use that pace. Cut off well by the Monaco defender. But Adeyemi has turned him. And he can lay the ball into the path of Guirassy, who I think is offside. I thought for a second we had a penalty there. Guirassy takes a tumble in the box. Good angle. Must have just been offside. But 35 minutes into this game, I'm not sure we've had a shot on goal. Really, really poor performance. And I think at this rate, it's going to be substitutions at half-time as well as the slight change to the tactics. Kivior finds Schlotterbeck. Zabitzer. Ryerson. And Bayer on the right-hand side. Again tries to turn his man like Adeyemi. opposite him. Sörler will look for Bayer. He's played an excellent ball into Bayer's path, to be fair. And Ryerson just holding his position. We could have done with him drifting forward a little more there. Brandt again trying to find Guirassy, but too many Monaco defenders. Not enough support for Guirassy. And Monaco win back possession fairly comfortably. Comfortable is exactly what Monaco have been so far in this game. Comfortable defensively. Comfortable creating opportunities as well. We've barely tested them really at either end of the pitch. Not sure how we're going to begin to do that in the second period either. Don't really see any weak points in Monaco's side that we can exploit at this point in time. Julian Brandt just has to fight to hold on. Does manage to do that. Max Bayer, Zabitzer, and Eric Martel. If we can get Adeyemi into that little channel in behind, which we just about can. Nice little touch from Adeyemi down on the chest. Pulls it back towards Guirassy. Turns it towards goal. And I think it's just a poor shot that goes out for a goal kick. As we see Minamino's goal again. Kobel brave, to be fair. Put himself in harm's way. Couldn't get anything on it, though. Monaco will go short. Guirassy will chase. One thing I will say is Adeyemi's looked far better on the right-hand side than he has on the left. We've brought him over to the left today because Jamie Gittens hasn't exactly been impressing, and I did want to give Max Bayer a chance out on the right-hand side with both Guirassy and Moukoko playing so well up front. I think Bayer's opportunities there are going to be a little bit limited, so it might be on that right wing where he gets his opportunities this season. But Adeyemi looks so much more dangerous coming in off the right-hand side than he does the left. So I think we'll make that change at half-time. Send Adeyemi back out to the right. And beyond that, I'm kind of at a loss, to be honest, for ways that we can approach this game. If you're enjoying the game and today's episode, please take a second to like the video. And if you want to see more realistic FC 25 content, be sure to subscribe, not just to catch the next episode of this series, but other realistic career modes, realistic rebuilds, slider updates that might be dropping in the future. And if you want to get ahead of the curve and see those kinds of videos before anybody else, consider becoming a 12th Man member of the channel. Membership starts at just $1.99 a month and grants you exclusive early access to all new videos, with tier rewards scaling up from there and including the possibility of being featured in my career mode saves. Thank you to everyone who is already supporting the channel through their membership. It is genuinely very much appreciated and helps the channel to run. But now let's head back out for the second half. So a couple changes at halftime as Youssoufa Moukoko comes on up front. Julian de Ranville on the left-hand side. That's going to allow Karim Adeyemi to move back out to the right. We are also going to step up into our push tactics because I see absolutely no reason not to try and score in this game. Not to go all out to score even. We literally have nothing to lose, given the nature of the format. As Moukoko challenges Malignon. Can't win the header though. So if this was a group stage game, like in the old Champions League format, potentially we'd be a little more conservative here and just try and avoid conceding a second goal. Maybe, you know, steal a goal on a quick counter-attack to come away with a draw. But with the new format, just it makes no sense not to go all out to win the game, because a point ultimately is not going to be that useful for us. Ryerson, good challenge. Adeyemi. Pace to, again, carry us up the field on this right-hand side. Squeezes past one Monaco defender. Moukoko not really making a particularly useful run. Adeyemi loses control for a moment. Finds Zabitzer. And it's in off the underside of the bar after a deflection. And I think the ref is going to say offside. Either it's offside or it's off an arm. Not sure what the decision is, but there's a big deflection. I guess off a Dortmund player. And I think the decision is it's deflected off his arm. And that's what's carried the ball over the goalkeeper and in off the underside of the bar. So the goal ruled out. Looked as though we were back in the game for a moment there. Just about 5 minutes into the second half. But promising signs in the second half at the very least. We do look better going forward. A bit more aggressive. Players in a position to support the attack a little more now. Lunging challenge from Ryerson. The same from Brandt. Brandt at least gets a foot on the ball. Ryerson misses both the ball and the man completely. Ryerson is not a good right back for us. He's probably solid enough in certain systems, but the way we want to play on this right-hand side, he's not ideal by any means. We do have the youngster Sadiq Adetola on the bench, who may well play a role for us today, and is a little bit more suited to that attacking wing-back style role that we want on the right-hand side. And beyond Adetola, I think we may have to look for a different backup right back, because Ryerson is he's just not it. He's just not the guy. He can also play left back, but we don't need left backs. We've got both Kivior and Benzabaini, who are both more than solid. Sörler gives the ball away, has to drop back into position. Ryerson steps up to challenge. Sörler just holds his position. It's good defending, to be fair. But the referee disagrees. Free kick for Monaco on the edge of the box, and this could be 2. Looks as though it's going to be a direct free kick with the initial taker, and it is. Oh, and we are in all kinds of trouble here with Martel, looking for a route out. And we've given the ball away in a dangerous area again. We did that in a previous game in today's episode with Kobel, which cost us 3 points. Well, it cost us 2 points. We did still come away with a draw. But I think are we still yet to force Malignon into a save in the Monaco goal? We have put the ball past him, to be fair, but after the use of a hand. So how much heart we can take from that, I'm not so sure. The Ranville just has to turn back. Find Julian Brandt. Big switch of players on to Ryerson if he can find him, which he can. Adeyemi. Oh, he's looking for Brandt with a little back heel. Little inaccurate. It's a great ball from Zabitzer into Adeyemi. The touch is not a good one, though. Better touch there, and we're causing issues for Monaco. I think we're even going to step up into our attacking tactical focus now as well. We'll probably make another substitution or two as we try desperately to find a route back into this game. I'd be happy enough with a point, to be fair. I said earlier, a point's not going to be that useful. But as we approach the final 20-25 minutes or so, I think it's going to have to be a third consecutive draw in the episode that we're going to have to settle for, if we can even manage that. And it's going to be a free kick. It's going to give Monaco a chance to make a change, and I think we're going to do the same. So it will be 2 more changes as Merlin Röhl and Sadiq Adetola come onto the field. Julian Brandt off. Usually one of our most creative, most dynamic players going forward, but hasn't had a real impact on the game today of any sort. Adetola. Karim Adeyemi in behind. This is nicely worked. Just uses the run of Merlin Röhl as a diversion, but defended well by Monaco, who continue to be organised, disciplined, continue to hold their shape in defence. He managed to find Julian de Ranville, though. And there, I should be looking to get a cross in, but there's literally no point. Zabitzer gets the shot away. Big save. First time, 70 minutes into the game, that we've really tested Malignon in the Monaco goal. Big strike from Zabitzer from range. He will deliver the corner here now as well. Head is clear by Monaco. And we will try and take this one short to Adeyemi. Zabitzer, once again, finds, I think, Jakub Kivior, who gets a second shot away, and it's going to be a third corner in quick succession. Kivior, I believe, still looking for his first goal in a Dortmund shirt. But Zabitzer will deliver once again. And there's Schlotterbeck. And there's the broken headers. Wasn't the easiest chance to turn towards goal, to be fair. But, I mean, that's about as good as you can get headers to be. The CPU, unfortunately, as we have seen, don't have any issues at all turning headers towards goal from corners, but for some reason the user does. Adeyemi, almost stealing in there. We will continue to apply pressure with Merlin Röhrl and with Moukoko. If we can avoid being blocked off by the Monaco defender at the very least, and Adatola's going to step up here. Hasn't done a particularly good job though. Sörler's on the back foot. Zabitzer also back in a position to defend. Well cut out by Sörler though. Finds Schlotterbeck, and Martel has to drive forward. Finds de Ranville. Merlin Röhrl wants it and gets it. Just lays it into the feet of Sadiq Adatola. And Karim Adeyemi with a nice run in behind. Lofts it in towards Moukoko. Can't win the header. And the Monaco defender brings it down and clears. We're asking questions of Monaco now at the very least. Great challenge from Zabitzer. No idea what they could possibly be celebrating. No idea what they have to be so pleased about. Absolutely nothing at this stage. We failed to win in 2 games in the episode so far, and it looks as though we're going to fail to win in a third straight. Really poor run of form, despite the fact that, again, our fixture list is not particularly challenging at this point in time. And if we play like this heading into the month of November, where we're taking on Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Liverpool, Bayer Leverkusen, we are going to get absolutely destroyed. Kobel wants the ball quickly. Gets it. Schlotterbeck. Kivior. Finds Sörler. Adatola at right back. Just tries to find Martel. But again, we can't even string 2 passes together at the back. Monaco just all over us. The Ranville, though, finds Moukoko. Again, he's just having to fight to keep possession. Adatola on the overlap. And he's running backwards. He's running backwards as I try and play that in behind. To be fair, I think he probably drifted offsides. No idea what's going on here. It's, I guess, a handball. How he managed to handball that there from the throw, though, I have no idea. It's a great ball into the box from Zabitzer. Martel can't get there. Ranville dropping back in as well. And Kivior one-on-one with Diatta. As Monaco look to secure this victory with a second goal. Finds Boadu. Schlotterbeck drawn out of position as well. And it's really nicely worked from Monaco. But it's a good block. Monaco first to the ball, though. Slipped in behind, parried away by Kobel. We were fortunate there, really, that the Monaco striker took the shot on early. And it's a great run from Adeyemi, but the Monaco midfielder has just got his foot to the ball. Adeyemi was in behind there. Merlin Röhrl, I thought, was going to find him. And with Adeyemi's pace, nobody was going to catch him. But it's just a toe on the ball is enough to take it off path. Adatola back stick, parried away by Kobel. But 3 minutes left, and it's a Monaco corner. Parried again by Kobel, but what is going on? What is going on? How the CPU can win headers like that and we can't is so frustrating. Adeyemi. You're so far offside. Who is that? Zabitzer. You're so far offside. You're still running forwards. You're so far offside that entire time. He's ahead of everyone. And he's just looking back over his shoulder like, yeah, pass me the ball. You're like 10 yards offside. You're 5 yards ahead of me and I've got the ball. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Just aimlessly, mindlessly sprinting forward. And if at any point Sabitzer held his run there, there was literally not a Monaco defender in sight. 2-0, what a finish. Monaco get a second goal. You can't say it's undeserved. And we will lose our first game of the season. No, we won't. We will lose our second game of the season. We have already lost to Mönchengladbach, so all that nonsense at the beginning of the game about being undefeated, throw that out the window, because we have already lost in the Bundesliga. But Bodu comes on, grabs a second goal for Monaco. And again, not undeserved, fully deserved. And we are going to take our first loss in the Champions League. Can Adeyemi at least force his way through and get onto the score sheet? Adetola. It's going to be too little too late if he can. Pulls it back across goal. Nobody in a position to receive the ball. And the referee's final whistle does go. It's another disappointing performance. Really, really poor. Monaco run out 2-0 winners, fully deserved. Duranville did almost nothing when he came on, but to be fair, his performance is not out of place. Everybody performed poorly today. I'm not sure I can think of a single player who had a good game. From start to finish for 90 minutes at the very least. I think from front to back, from top to bottom, we were poor. Didn't deserve anything from that game. Not even close. So Moukok's suspension means that he will miss our next game of the episode against Hanover. Merlin Royal does come into the side though, as does Giovanni Reina. Another one of those players who is very much playing for his Dortmund career. And we do come away with the victory here. So at least one decent result in today's episode at least. Sabitzer gets on the score sheet, as does Koulibaly and Couto. So a couple of defenders popping up with goals. And it seems like Niklas Söller has seen the writing on the wall. He's dropped in to tell us that he needs more games. So I think between his inconsistent performances, the excellent performances of Anton, and Söller's desire to play, it does look like he's probably going to be gone at the end of the season. One of the players that could very well replace Söller in the squad is Soumaila Koulibaly. We saw him score in the last game and he starts today alongside Anton in Schlotterbeck's absence. Pascal Gross also gets a rare start in our fifth and final game of the episode as we travel to Aachen in the Champions League, where we do come away with another victory. So 3 wins, 1 loss in the Champions League so far. 2 goals from Jamie Gittens in this one, securing our 3rd victory in the Champions League. 2 consecutive victories, not enough to ameliorate the disappointment from earlier in the episode though. 2 wins, 2 draws and a loss, simply not good enough, especially given the level of opposition that we've faced. But regardless, we will finish the episode 4th in the Bundesliga, very much in touching distance of Leverkusen in 2nd. However, that loss to Monaco in the Champions League has seen us fall all the way to 10th place in the table. And of course, we know what awaits us in the next episode. Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Leverkusen, as well as Wolfsburg, who, to be fair, are above us in 3rd position in the Bundesliga at the moment, and last season's overperformers Union Berlin. Probably not going to be any pushover. So we've got our work cut out for us in the next episode if we are going to put our season back on track. And I think given their recent performances, I think there's a couple of players who might need to be put on notice as well. So I hope to see you there. Take it easy.